In Candid Conversation, we have had great discussion on the essential components of monetizing your brand and financial strategies for persons who are going into business for themselves. But today, I want to expand a bit on the business basics. Having true passion for business on your own, that's really good, but you've got to have more than just passion. Passion is just not enough. You also need basic business skills to launch your business and survive for the long haul. So today we have Cheree Hopkins with us.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank
you.
you.
We're so glad to have you in Candid Conversation.
Absolutely. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Now, Cheree is an entrepreneur, founder of Entrepreneur Business Basics, EEB, and Integrity Designs and Consulting.
Yes, ma'am.
But not only that, Cheree is an author.
I am.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yes.
And a well sought after facilitator, keynote speaker, and workshop speaker.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome again.
Thank you for having me.
We're so glad to have you.
Absolutely.
So we want to jump right into the conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell me a little bit about your business, EEB.
Yes.
I understand that you began in 2014.
I did.
So that's been almost, what, 12?
6 years.
6 years? I gave you an extra.
Yeah, thank you. I'll take it.
6 years. So what has been your strategy for maintaining your own business in this entrepreneur world that long? I mean, how have you maintained?
Well, you know what? That's such a good question. I'll tell you, when I started EBB, I really saw the disparity in minority businesses being really ready to stay in business. I feel like a lot of times we know the skill, whatever our business skill is, but we have very little knowledge about how to run our business and to stay in business. So really the market was there for me to be able to have the business for as long as I've had it. But the bigger part of it was really equipping African American entrepreneurs, because that's where, especially in Wyandotte County, we see a deficit.
So is that your energy? Is that
yes,
where your energy comes
that is
from?
my passion. It's my energy. Yeah,
yes,
I love it. I love it. There's so many statistics really that show the disparities for minority businesses and why we don't last long. So that's what we try to do. We want to equip and train entrepreneurs of color to understand the basics. Yeah.
So how important is it? I heard you just say, so how important is it for entrepreneurs, especially those of color, to be trained and well prepared before they jump into that business that they're so passionate about?
It is vital.
Vital.
It's vital. If we don't have that training, then 9 times out of 10, we probably won't last beyond 2 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. And most of it comes outside of the success, right? Because I sell a product, I make money, I have a pop-up event, I go to a vendor show. So I know I can make the money, but it's managing the business that usually is the thing that makes our businesses close. So it's
the management.
It's the
part
management.
Of it.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. It's the management. It's the stuff nobody wants to talk about, like the books and the financials and the taxes and getting us in a position to be able to compete for larger contracts and compete against our counterparts. So it's vital. Yes, ma'am. It's vital.
That is good to know.
Yes.
It's good to know because with the previous conversations that we've had, we're getting a lot of knowledge on the importance of doing things a certain way.
Yes.
And so here you are today giving us the groundwork, the foundation, the basics before you even begin.
Yes.
And so I know that you are a part of the Kaufman Foundation.
I am.
Which is like a household word in this city.
Yes.
Everybody knows about the Kaufman
Absolutely.
Foundation. So what is your part in that organization? Exactly what is it that you offer or that you do?
Yeah, so I work with Kaufman on a couple of projects, but mainly I work with people who are administering Fast Track, which is one of their gold star programs for training.
Fast Track?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Fast Track.
Okay.
Fast Track. So for any program, which is a university or small business development center, I actually mentor the person that's developing the programming for them.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
So that's one component that I do for them. The other component that I do is I actually administer Fast Track to our entrepreneurs of color, which is a part of EBB, and why I love it so much, because it's more than just, kind of fantasizing about what I'm supposed to do. It's solid, clear instruction and giving them something that's been proven and tested and tried and true.
Do you mind unpacking that Fast Track for us to kind of let us know exactly, what does that include? Is it a 6 weeks, 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a course? And what does it entail, that Fast
So it's 12 weeks.
And the next question after that, hold that thought, is how do you get into it?
Oh, yes, that's a good question too. So it's a 12-week program.
Okay.
And we take an entrepreneur from ideation. So I'm thinking about starting a business, or I have an idea.
Okay.
And then we help you to identify who is your customer, how do you actually identify your market, where's your demographic, what does it cost for you to actually make this work? And then we take them all the way to a launch. So we have a pitch contest at the end where they can actually present their business in front of angel investors and get people to buy in. The classes are spring and fall, and they can sign up online. They can go to our website, ebbkc.com.
ebbkc.com.
Yeah.
So what about age differences? Is it for young entrepreneurs, middle age, or someone my age that's in the senior part of their lives?
Yes. You know what? That group, that demographic is my best student, because they will be on time.
You mean the seniors?
Yes.
We believe in being on time.
They will be on time.
If you're on time, you're late.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We really try to work with people at least 20 years old. We found that a younger group is still fantasizing about business.
Okay.
And not quite really ready, settled for that. So our target is anywhere between, I would say, 35 and 55, 60 people who have retired from a job, and now they want to use that skill for themselves.
Okay, so retired.
Yes.
Retired.
Okay.
You almost talking about language.
Yes, retired. The retired group. Yeah, absolutely. There's a whole nother life after retirement.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. And many people take that opportunity to dive off into things that they've never been able to do because they had careers.
But this would give, especially the retiree, others will, but I'm talking about seniors, it would give them something solid to sink into, and the basics.
Yes.
EBB.
Yes, ma'am.
The basics of starting your business. And how successful have past students been? I know you've seen successes, and maybe some who did not follow through.
Yeah, absolutely. So our percentages, just from like a data perspective, we have almost 100 graduates. So that's something that I'm very, very humbled about. That's a lot of people. I look back like, oh my gosh, we've been doing it that long. About, I would say, 60% of them are still in business or successfully launched.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're always watching and tracking the entrepreneur. We have after support for them as well through a program called Endure. It just helps them to stay accountable, pass the class, gives them somebody to talk to, and kind of maybe get them to the next steps of scaling. But we have many people who take the course and then launch. Some of them even quit their jobs and go right full time into business.
Okay, so what about the person who, without going through training, without EBB, and without anything formal of that nature, stepped out and started their business and, maybe a year or so down the line had to close because they didn't have everything in place. So they want to backtrack.
Yes.
So what about that person that wants to backtrack and say, now I want to get into a program such as EEB to get the basics, so the next time I will be more successful.
Yeah, that's so good that you bring that up. Right now, we're launching an initiative with the Kansas Black Chamber of Commerce, the Heartland Black Chamber of Commerce, and Kaufman is a part of that, and then the city of Wyandotte County. And we are actually touching businesses that have closed due to COVID. Oh, yeah. Those people who had to shut their doors. And that's one of the things that we're doing, is we are bringing them back, but we're wanting them to be stronger at their core, so we're offering them training. We're giving them an opportunity to assess what didn't work. So that's a very, very huge market right now.
Oh yeah, that's monumental in the Wyandotte County area, especially.
Yes.
And I'm just kind of partial to this county and to Wyandotte County because that's where I reside. So that's my heart.
Yeah.
The dot is my heart, but of course it's for every other as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the wonderful thing about EBB. Everything is online, it's virtual. So we have students from everywhere. We have a group in South Carolina taking the class with us right now. There's a small group in Texas and DC. So as much as COVID has forced us in a lot of ways, it's allowed us to get out.
So there's some positives that we can get out. There's some negatives, but there's also some positives that's come out of this pandemic that, regardless of how we feel, is here.
It's here.
And we have to deal with it, and it's up to us on how we deal with it.
How to pivot has been huge. If we've consulted on anything for small businesses, it's been pivoting.
Amazing.
Yes.
So that's a lot about EEB.
Yes.
And the entrepreneur business.
Yes.
But I do want to take a little time and kind of switch to the author.
Yes.
The author part of
Yes,
you.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thank
you.
you.
Your first book.
Yes.
Your first book that you wrote. The title again?
Fixing Broken.
Fixing Broken.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I have read in Fixing Broken.
Yes.
I mean, you were so transparent.
Yes.
In sharing your, should I say, let me put it this way, your dirty laundry.
Yes, Lord.
And
very dirty. Yes, yes.
So that the world could see.
Yes.
But also, it was such a learning experience for you.
Yes, it was.
And so, tell us a little bit about, what were you thinking or feeling that you were able to pen all of this and put it in a book for others to be blessed by? And it is a blessing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. What I was feeling was hopelessness and helplessness. Because I think a lot of times when we are broken or hurting or in pain or in a dark place, that we don't share it. And we just, but we wear it, right? Yeah. It shows up in our lives.
In our attitudes.
Our attitudes.
Yeah, it does.
Our behaviors, things that we do.
Body language.
Everything. Yeah, and that's what I found. I was like, what is this? And why do I keep circling back to this same behavior? And I really realized that I was just broken in a lot of places in my life. So when I finished healing, which is so important and it is such a process, I realized that if I felt like this, somebody else has got to be feeling this too. So I really just did it from a cathartic place. Like I was doing it for myself at first. And when I finished writing the book, I went back and I added the working pages, which is what has been.
Is that the volume 2?
Yes.
Yeah, I have volume 1.
Yeah.
I have volume 2.
Yes, yeah. Just so that whoever's reading it can start working on their own stuff. You know, how do I actually do this if I don't feel comfortable going to a therapist? If I just want to get started with being honest about how I feel. So I knew that being transparent was really the only way that the book would be authentic.
And how freeing was that for your soul?
Yes. It was.
Was it a movement from victim mentality?
Yes, absolutely.
To the victor mentality?
Yes, absolutely.
So who could hold you against your own testimony?
That's And I didn't really realize at the time that's what I was doing. Mm-hmm. But the more I shared about the book, I said, yeah, that's what this is. Yeah. I'm speaking for myself. And the wonderful thing, Lady Vaughn, about the truth is I can repeat it. I don't have to make it up. I don't have to try to remember what I didn't share or what part I didn't disclose or someone else sharing my story. So it truly was a victim
because
to a
when
victor.
It is quiet, people will share your story.
Yes, they will.
And they'll put their own twist on it.
Yes, they will.
But you're like, okay, here's the book. You don't have to make anything
You don't have
up.
to make anything up.
It's right there.
It's right here. It's right here. And if you're serious, you can work on your stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what Fixing Broken is. That's what it is.
Amazing.
Yes, thank you.
And now,
yes.
I know there's another one that you did, but I want to kind of talk a little bit about your newest project as an author, an accomplished author, a bestseller author.
Yes.
This new book.
Yes, ma'am.
Called I Am
Ruth.
I Am Ruth.
Yes. Yes. It's a novel. And I've never written a novel before. Most all of my books that I've written are self-help or kind of guided.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it has taken on its own life. I Am Ruth has taken on its own life. And it really is a twist on the biblical version of the book of Ruth. So it's a modern day, what would Ruth and Naomi and Orpah have been like if they were dropped in 2019? And what is that journey? You lose your husband, you lose your kids, your daughter-in-law leaves, so she turns her back on faith.
Right.
But poor Ruth is hanging around and she doesn't know what to do. She's trying to help her mother-in-law who's admittedly depressed.
She definitely, yes. She just about told you.
Yes.
Said, don't call me.
Don't call me Mara.
Don't call me Naomi.
Yes, call me Mara.
Call me Mara.
I'm bitter.
Yes. Right.
And I started thinking about what would that conversation have been?
In this time. Especially in 2020.
Woo.
What would that conversation be like?
Oh, my goodness.
Because there's been so much loss.
So much loss.
And so much has happened, and even within homes. And so what would that be?
Yeah.
What was she, the modern day, the 21st century Naomi, what would she be like?
Yeah. She was, I can tell you in the book, she is a
tell
hot
me about
mess. She's a hot mess. And there was one scene from the book of Ruth in the Bible when she does come back and her friends, right, are there in chapter 1. They're there to greet her. Chapter 1,
right.
the
As
book
soon
of
as
Ruth.
she gets back to,
And she says, hey, I don't want this.
Right, she sure did.
Yeah. She said, I don't want
greet
this.
me.
Don't greet me. I'm not who I was when I left is not who I am now. And so that character in I Am Ruth really centers around her depression and her darkness and what causes her to be bitter and to be angry with God. And I think a lot of times we feel like that's not something that we can do, is to be angry with things we don't understand. So we dive into that. Her character dives into that. Her girlfriends are in the book. They're trying to help her heal.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what a girlfriend has to say. Girl, what's wrong with you?
Girl, what's
Don't
wrong
you
with
know?
Open this door. So it was, all of that is in there. And then, Ruth's story is in there. The book is I Am Ruth, and Ruth is kind of the primary person. As I'm writing the book, I realized that Ruth is bigger than just Boaz. While love is important, she was a person. She had to find her purpose. She had to be okay with her loss. She had to discover who she was. If Boaz never came, she still was with this mother who's depressed. But she does find love. So that does happen for Ruth. The book does end with her finding love, because that's how it ended in the scripture. So
it is amazing because as you were talking, I'm thinking of everybody goes through some type of trauma
Yes.
in life. I don't think anyone, as you mature in life, don't deal with some type of trauma.
Yes.
So the trauma that I see at the beginning of the story with Ruth and Naomi kind of gravitated to the trauma part.
Yes.
And Ruth kind of gravitated to the growth part.
Ooh, you got the whole book right there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Ruth is the one that said,
She is
okay,
the one.
we're not going to do this.
Yes.
I'm not going to stay in the house with you.
That's right.
And be down. But okay, no, I'm going to get out. I'm going to do this.
Oh my goodness.
And you're going to tell me
Yeah.
what I need to do because these are your people.
Yes.
So
yes,
tell me
yes.
what I need to do.
Yeah.
And which she does.
And she does.
And she follows the instructions. And they didn't have to go without a meal.
They didn't.
But it's because of Ruth's
Yes.
obedience. I wonder what she would look like.
I tried to describe her.
So it's in the book.
It's in the book.
So you have to get
You gotta get
the
it.
book.
I Am Ruth.
I Am Ruth.
Yes.
In order to find out what
Yes.
happened and to see this conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it was so powerful the way that the Lord gave me to write it. Just the characters and all of the scenarios, and so it has been a blessing. It's taken on its own life, I will say that. Ruth has shown up in my world. For sure.
So as women purchase, download or however
Absolutely.
that they do and get the workbook, what is your hope for them as they study and get into this novel, I Am Ruth?
I think the biggest part is something that I've learned to do is to honor your feelings. Because I feel like we don't do it enough.
Yes.
You
And
know,
no shame.
No shame.
No shame.
And people ask us all the time, how are you? Like that's something that we say,
oh, I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay, I'm good. How you doing? And inside, I'm mad. I'm hurt. I'm confused at the moment. I don't know how I feel. How you feel? My feet hurt. My shoes are cute, but they too tight. I mean, whatever.
Right.
Our truth is.
Whatever our truth is.
And one thing that I found was if I honor my feelings, it opens up a door for you to honor yours.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I may have what you need. And you certainly
I
have what I need.
Yeah.
But if I say I'm good and I'm not, you'll never know.
I think we are beginning to understand that feelings they're natural, they're human.
Yes.
So even if I don't feel good, or if I'm sad, or if I'm angry, especially after watching something that I watched on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock.
I know, right?
So, but even after that, after angry, then sad, like, oh, is this America today?
Yeah.
But even, I still have a choice to affirm that, I feel this way.
Yes.
But I don't have to linger there or linger in it.
Yeah.
But I will acknowledge, I'm mad.
Yeah.
I'm angry.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to linger there where I go out and do some harm.
Right.
But just, I think women need to be especially respected for our feelings.
Yes.
And be affirmed for our feelings, and just not just kind of shrugging it off as, oh, she's just mad all the time.
Yeah.
Find out what's going on.
What is going on. Yeah. And one of the things that I enjoyed, and I said this before we started, was when you had the salon talk. I feel like a major part of us honoring our feelings and not lingering, which is so good, is having the right people around us. And that was a part of what's in the book. She had to identify, I'm really not alone in this pain. As much as I feel alone, I'm not. And even today, right, we're not alone in the pain. There are people who can help us to not linger.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's so important to have that person.
Yes.
So as in one conversation, we talked about your sister circle before, and, being really conscientious about who's in that close circle.
Yes.
That even if you are down, they can help bring you back up.
Yeah.
So, because Naomi she's got some pretty bad rap.
It's not too much better in the book.
She has. But if you kind of put yourself in her shoes, that was a lot to ingest and to deal with.
Yeah.
But in the end, she was all right.
In the end, she was.
She was all right.
God gave her back everything she lost.
Everything that she lost. And I think she was so much even better than before.
Yeah. And just the way that God uses our pain for his greater purpose. That's what I saw in the book of Ruth. That as much as they lost in the end, wow, they are the lineage of Jesus Christ.
The lineage.
He comes through there. So there's something about it.
You have to look at it that way. If this hadn't happened, because sometimes we look at the negative, but if this hadn't happened, and that hadn't happened, then this would not have come to pass. And all of that. If God had not shut the door, you would not have gone over here where the blessing truly was. And we don't understand it at first, but he just says, trust.
Yes, that's such a huge word, trust. Trust.
And it's not easy.
No, it's not.
All the time. So, but the book will go through all kinds of scenarios. It will. And it'll, I think we can all identify with something, even if it's in Ruth or Naomi or their friends around them. You might say, oh, now that would have been me. Yes. That you will find something in there.
Absolutely. Hopefully, every woman that reads it sees herself.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you again.
Thank you. This has been
entrepreneur. We appreciate it so much.
Yes, absolutely. The honor is mine. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
God bless.